Hey there, I'm Lucy and today I'm going to be talking about the Espruino Development Board. For those that have never ever come across one before, here it is. A nice little close-up, and this one was sent to me by element14.com through the road test scheme that they do, and the people at Espruino too in return for a review. So let's pop it down and we'll take a closer look. So here we are again. This is the Espruino board. The main microcontroller that you can see there is an ARM STM32. It's got 48 kilobytes of RAM, 256k flash, and it's running at 72 megahertz if I remember. We've got a mini SD card adapter there. This is the micro USB plug that we plug our computer into it with. Just a power connector that takes quite a wide range of voltages. I think, if I remember, it's between about 3.7 volts and 15 volts. It's got its own converter on there, so you can power it through the USB or via an external battery. If I just see if I can get you in a little bit closer. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see, but most of the pins on this microcontroller have been broken out to the outside of the board there, and the silk screen over the board next to the pins just shows which pin numbers they are. You've got a little bit of a prototyping area there for surface mount components, and these pads break out to this set of pins on the outside of them. We've got a reset button and a user button there too. The user button you can use in your program just to act as an operating button, just do whatever you like with it really. It's used during the programming phase. If you want to update the actual software, you need both of those buttons to pop it into bootloader mode. On the back of the board there, there's this extra set of pads here. Presumably that's where the Bluetooth module goes. It does say Bluetooth on it, so I'd imagine. And I think there's a compatible wireless module too, Wi-Fi module, I'm sure that goes there too. So now I'm just going to have a quick talk about what makes the Espruino a little bit different to other microcontroller development boards out there. The main feature is the software that's already installed on it is a JavaScript interpreter. If you've ever come across JavaScript before, it's more likely to do with website programming, interacting with elements on web pages and that kind of thing. I first came across using it in microcontrollers with the BeagleBone Black, and they had an interpretation of it called BoneScript, and it just made a nice easy way for you to use a higher level language and interact with pins. And it takes away a lot of the hassle of having to use a hardware programmer, set up a tool chain in software, and even with it being so high level, a lot of things that you want to do are going to be a lot easier than trying to start all over again yourself from fresh with C or assembler or something. Yeah, so for me, I think the BeagleBone's a little bit overkill for a lot of projects. It's really designed to run a full operating system, and that can come with its own problems. You know, if you want to switch a pin on, it's got to send a request to the kernel and whatnot. You can't fully rely on it to be as real time as what you'd like sometimes. The Espruino isn't as powerful, but it doesn't have that that operating system layer in between the command being asked for and the output of it on the pins. So yeah, I mean, for me as a rapid development board, it was really of interest, which is why I had to take part in this this road test, because I think it's quite a neat little idea. It's a neat little board, and the people at Espruino have put an awful lot of work into it. If you have a look on the Espruino website, it is absolutely packed full of tutorials, demos. There's an active forum. Most people that sort of post questions on the forum get answered really quickly. Just have a quick look, see what it's all about, and yeah, I think we should just move on and see how easy it is to actually write a command to this thing and get something out of it. So I'll see you in a second. And we're back again. I'm just going to show you quickly how easy it is to actually use the Espruino in a program. So I do it in a little bit of a different way to how they recommend on the website. They've got their own app that runs through the Google Chrome web browser. I didn't really want to install Google Chrome just to use another development board. So I'm going through the alternative system of just using the terminal and something like Minicom, which I already had installed to communicate with this. So first of all, I just need to plug the Espruino in, like this, and go to our terminal. There we go. So I'm just going to open my Minicom program, and this is a device number that the Espruino is on. Just pop in my password. There we go. Now there we are, and we can just simply send some JavaScript to it and it'll run it live straight away for us. So let's just quickly turn one of the LEDs on. So we just send the command digital right, and we tell it we want to turn on LED 1, and we put a 1 there to say we want the pin to go high, and press enter and the red LED comes on. I'll switch it off. We can just press the up arrow to retrieve the last line we just wrote, go back, change the 1 for a 0, that tells it we want the pin to go low, and that switches it off. There's 3 LEDs on there, user LEDs, so we can just go to LED 2 and turn that one on, and the green one's just popped on, and go to LED 3 and the blue one comes on too. Now it really is important for you to update the, I'll go through that in a bit. Right, so yeah, I think that we can all see how easy it is to actually use the Espruino. There's no real trouble involved there. You don't have to use a hardware programmer, you don't have to use a custom IDE if you don't want to. you don't have to set up a tool chain, and if you already know JavaScript, it should just be second nature to use. The only thing that I will say is to definitely install the software update. I tried using it quickly without using the update, and some of the features didn't work. The PWM just didn't work, and there was a few like end of file errors, but as soon as I did install the update, all of that went away and it worked as expected. The only thing that I had trouble with is actually updating it, because I'm not using the Google Web IDE. It didn't explain how to put the board into bootloader mode, so if you're going to do it yourself and you're not going to use the Web IDE, still read that tutorial, because that shows you how to actually put the board into bootloader mode. It's quite simple. Before you run the command that downloads the software, you just have to press the reset button, and while you've still got that held down, press button 1, then let go of reset, and that pops the board into bootloader mode. The bootloader LED, the blue one, should stay sort of lit up for a bit, and then it starts fading on and off. That way you know it's ready to go. So before we go, for now, I'm just going to quickly show you what I plan on doing. I'm just going to turn this into a little development system, so I just want to pop on these, put these header pins on. There we go. Oh god, it's stuck everywhere. Right, so I've just trimmed these header pins down, and I've done one for this middle row because there are some pins broken out down this middle row too, so I've put one out especially for there, and that's just going to make it really compatible for a breadboard, because the dimensions don't really suit plugging straight into a breadboard, and there's no real mounting holes or anything on there. It does go through on the website a few different options that you can use for that, but what I did notice is when I put these in, accessing the reset button is going to be really quite difficult to do. So when I investigated this board to start with, I noticed the bottom row of pins here at the bottom, they really don't lead to anywhere. The lower pin is linked to the upper pin, and then the next column the lower pin's linked to the upper pin, and so on and so on. So I think what I'm going to do is desolder those switches first, pop some wires out to them and pop some vertical switches on there, or maybe even some more header sockets. And I might do the same for the battery connector as well, and just make a little bit more room for the USB connector there. And then once I've done that, I'll see if I can do a few quick projects on it. If you check out the rest of my videos, I've done a quick one on actually updating the software, just to guide you through that if you're not using the Web IDE. And then I've just done a few demonstrating the digital analog converters, and there's one with that demonstrates a pulse width modulation on it. Most of the pins can be used for pulse width modulation, by the way. It's quite comprehensive as far as that goes. If you want to make a servo controller, this is your thing. Yeah, so right, I'm gonna go now, get these taken off, solder these on, and then hopefully pop it alongside my breadboard, and we'll see if we can come up with some practical projects to demonstrate the Espruino board a little bit better. Hey, so today's a new day, and it was gorgeous outside earlier. The sun's just gone in, it got a bit rubbish, so I thought I'd come back and just get on with my Espruino modification. Like I said yesterday, I've taken the two buttons off and the power connector, give you a close up there. And I was messing about a little bit, and I realised that you can get one of these lithium-ion battery packs, a standard size, and this board is virtually the same size as that. I just thought, what a nice, neat little package that makes. And you can fit that into quite a lot of little devices, and it's so small, compact, really, really nice. I'm not going to do that particular configuration this time though, but I realised I've got a little charger for a lithium ion as well. That can just slot quite nicely over there with a little bit of pad in between, and yeah, it should be able to make a nice little device. So I might well be ordering another Espruino for myself to actually do a nice low profile application with. So last night I was thinking, what am I actually going to do to sort of test out the Espruino and just give a little bit of an example, and I thought, well, I'll just resurrect one of my little robot projects. So I think the one that I'm probably going to do is just resurrect this old robot that I used to have. We just clip together like that, and it's just such a simple little motion it has. The legs just move through some servos there. We might see if we can pop a few sensors on as well, so see if we can get some real action out of the Espruino. But yeah, I haven't had this one up and running for a few years now, so I think it'll be fun for me, and it'll be a good project to demonstrate with. So anyway, I think we'd best go out and get some lunch, and a little bit later on I'll continue with soldering the header sockets onto my Espruino. So bye for now. Hi, I'm back again, and I've got a bit of a cold just come on, so if I have to run off and sneeze, excuse me, you never know. Anyway, I'll just show you what I've done with my Espruino board so far. I've just soldered on these header connectors there, which I can just plug pins into and then connect onto my breadboard easily. I've moved the switches so they're a lot easier to press. I've put these side mounted switches on like that. And I took the power connector off earlier while I was doing it, just so I could see the profile of the board with all of the raised components off, and it was quite nice, quite handy. I'll just show you where I got these switches from. Yeah, so I went down to my local second-hand electronics shop, Cash Converters in England. I'm sure most of you have heard of it, and I got a DVD player for £3. How can you beat that? I don't think you can. So yeah, that came with this this board that formed a lot of the front panel, and there was this row of 5 push buttons just soldered onto there, which I just desoldered off. And it was one of them things, it was easy enough, but it just took a long time with the soldering iron. It's one of them tasks where I sort of wish I'd have just brought out my hot air station, gave that a bit of an airing just to get it off, but anyway, I didn't bother. But yeah, there's a few other bits I'm going to get off this this board, not this one, the actual main board. There's a few bits I want to get off of it. So I've got this nice heat sink, and that's on this nice, I think that's switch mode transistor for making switch mode power supplies with. There's a 7812 voltage regulator I'm probably going to get off with it. I've already got the drive out, which was the reason that I bought it in the first place. And then there's this nice VFD display that I want to have a play with. I'm probably going to get this piece off just to test it. This says danger part. I don't know if you can read that. But, and there's a few phono connectors. I probably won't keep them, I don't really use them. there's an optical cable connector, and on the back there's some 24-bit audio DACs. There's 2 of those, so I'm probably going to take those off as well to use in the project. And yeah, just like, you can get a lot of stuff off of one thing and it cost me £3, but I think like salvaging things is kind of, if you go onto the website and watch the tutorials, it's sort of, I think that they sort of push the idea that you should be reusing things where you can, instead of just buying new, because these push buttons on their own can be quite expensive when you have to order them. So if you can salvage them off something that you can buy super dirt cheap, then do that by all means. Even if you have a broken player or something, it's going to have things like these buttons in that you can reuse. And there's a lot of other bits and bobs that you can just pull off and have a play with and just sort of go through and maybe learn how it works. That's all part of the fun. Yeah, but back to the board, I think in the sort of near future I'm going to be buying another one. It's my friend's birthday coming up, and he's always been wanting to get into electronics and whatever, and I remember when I got into microcontroller development and whatever, it's quite a difficult learning curve, and it's sort of a really multidisciplinary thing, because you know, you've got to know how to program, you've got to have a basic idea of electronics, and if you're making the board yourself, you've got to have a little bit of skills with soldering. So it's not the easiest thing to get into. So just having a board that's already made, and it runs a programming language, which is probably one of the easiest to pick up, is a really good thing. So I'm going to get one of these, solder some headers on, which I think, you know, I'm just wondering whether they should sell a version with sort of headers already on there, ready to be used by people that aren't maybe as tech savvy as others are. That'd be a good idea, I think. But yeah, I'm going to get another one, solder some headers on, pretty much the exact same as this, put it into a box with a little breadboard, a few jumper wires, a few components, bits and bobs, and just point into the Espruino website and just say, look, just have a bit of fun. And that's you know, that's a good way to get somebody into microcontroller development, I think. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this prototyping area for yet, but I was just thinking maybe, you know, just getting some like a 4-channel op-amp or something on there in the first place, and that'll just give you a sort of the ability to make a better digital analog converter. This one goes from 0 to 3.3 volts, which if you check one of my other videos, I have actually done a short snippet on the digital analog converters on here. But if you have some op-amps and whatever, you can increase that to whatever the rail voltages are. And the right ones, you can have negative and positive rails as well, so you could get like minus 12 volts to plus 12 volts, and you could sort of control it through probably the PWM ports, and then just run it through a filter into the op-amp, and then you can get a better range on a digital analog converter that way. I suppose, you know, op-amps come in useful for so much, so I might just pop one on there, and I've got an extra bit of functionality out of this Espruino. There was something on the website about real-time clocks as well. I think this doesn't have a completely accurate clock built in. There was an option with the controller, but the software I don't think had been made compatible, so it was left off. So I might just see if I can see if there's any lag, because I've got some real-time clock chips as well, so I might just put one of my own on, something like that. So that rounds this part of the video. Yeah, I'm going to go off and write my review, post it on Element 14, put links to this video in, and if you just check the rest of the videos, then there should be some already on there, another one or two more in the future, hopefully, where I'm actually using the Espruino in other projects. So I'm going to go because I feel a bit rubbish now, and I really do need to sleep. So see you all later.